Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. We have Rabbi Mordecai Darwish of Gate of Mordecai. We're going to do something really exciting tonight. We're going to do Yeshaya, Isaiah chapter 60, and it's a vision of the days of Mashiach. It's a vision after Mashiach comes, after the enemies of the Jewish people are defeated, after the Beis Hamikdash, after the temple is rebuilt in Jerusalem, and all the world is coming to Israel to learn the wisdom of the Torah. So it's a vision of the Gula. It's something that's so different from what's going on now. So it's very beautiful. All right, so here, let me bring this up on the screen here. Okay, and we are using the Merkava tonight, so this is very exciting. Okay, so here it says it begins. Let's see if I can get it here. It begins. It says the first pasuk. It says Kumi Ori Kiva Orech. So it's like saying, arise, shine, is talking to the Jewish people. And this is part of the Shiva Nechemta, the seven Haftorahs of constellation that we read after Tisha B'Av. So then we have these seven beautiful Shabbases where Hashem's comforting us and getting ready for Rosh Hashanah, getting ready for the new year. But Isaiah, it starts out here, the vision, the prophecy is Kumi Ori Kiva Orech. So arise, shine, for your light has come. Ukavod Hashem alaik zarak. And the kavod, the honor of Hashem, the Shekhinah of Hashem is shining like upon you. So we'll start with Rabbi Schwab, Shimon Schwab, his commentary, and then we'll say what we think. But it's saying, arise and shine. Assume your position as the spiritual leader who will enlighten the world. Here, let me stop the share for a second. It's saying, arise and shine, assume your position as a spiritual leader who will enlighten the world. Because kiva orech, because your light has come. And the time has finally come when your long dormant light is ignited, is kindled again. And he says, Kavod Hashem alaik zarak, and the glory of Hashem shines upon you. Yisrael's light. Israel's light is a reflection of Hashem's presence, and which will become like visible for the whole world to recognize at the time of the Gula. All right, what do you think? Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's the good stuff that we all await. We all pray
Oh
for.
yeah. I see if I can turn this on here. What? Okay, I get a little more light here. Getting a little more light here since it's a rise and shine. Yeah. Okay, so right, so it's time. So the light here is talking about the spiritual light, the spiritual illumination of the Torah, and the world's going to really recognize the great wisdom that Jewish people have, gotten from the Torah, and they're going to want to learn it. Right, anything else, or should I go into the next pasuk? Or
Yeah, I know. That's our whole mission in the world is to be the light on the nation.
yeah, so I mean, it's going to really see this like beautiful time in the future and what's going to happen here. So we'll go into the next pasuk, the next verse. And so it says, Ki hine chachoshek yichase eretz. And this is very interesting. So this is really the time we're in now. And it says, because the darkness covers the earth, vid arafel, leumim, and the deep darkness, or the dense darkness, is over the nations. Ve'alayik yizrach Hashem. But then Hashem will shine on you, right? Ukavodo alayik yera'eh. And then his glory will be like visible upon you. So Rabbi Schwab, he says something really amazing about all this. Let me bring this back up. So he says, for centuries the world was enshrouded in various degrees of darkness. There were those who recognized the existence of Hashem, of God, but still worshipped like in strange ways, like avodah zarah, idol worship. And they did not live their lives in accordance with his moral law. So they lived in choshek, they lived in darkness. And there were those who were in the arafel, the deep darkness, denying any moral law for mankind, constant warfare, murder, robbery, torture, and the deprivation of others' rights were recognized as permissible in some vague concept of achieving a greater good. But all of this will change with the advent of the Gula. So I think this is so relevant to where we are now. All right, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. The world is shrouded in darkness. It's become very physical. There's a conscious effort to make things even more physical and strip us of our spiritual roots. And towards the end, I mean, that's the playbook. I think we started learning a book called God's Plan, Knowing God's Plan, and that's one of the principles that he lays down over there. That there will be a shroud of darkness before the light, and Israel will be given the light first, and then they'll be able to guide the nation in that light.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the time of like right before every sunrise, it's like the greatest darkness. The greatest darkness is before the sunrise. Like Hashem makes like the light from the stars kind of, go out. And so it's totally dark. And then we have the sunrise.
Yeah,
So what? Yeah.
there's no moral compass. Like there's no right or wrong. Everybody's cheering for their team, like we saw last week with the murder. People are cheering it. One side's cheering it, the other side's crying about it. It's how you can cheer for someone else's murder that didn't do anything to you. It's insane. World is going morally bankrupt.
Yeah, no. So I mean, we can really see it, right? We really see the darkness we're in right now. So I think it's interesting. So Rabbi Schwab, he's describing the choshek, the darkness, as there is other religions that they recognize Hashem, they recognize that there's one God, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
following like Hashem's laws. They're not following the mitzvos, right? So they're not following the laws of the king. They recognize there is a king. And then there's the deep
All
darkness.
right.
Then there's the deep darkness. There's this atheism, this this fantasy that there's no Hashem, that there's no God. And right as you were alluding to, we see this complete moral decay. I mean, I was very shocked and saddened, right, to see. I watched briefly like this horrible assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then I was horrified at some people's reactions, like justifying it, and some people, even like seem happy about it because it like fits their political view of the world. It's just so dark. It's just so not.
It reminds me when the Palestinians were cheering when Hamas committed the atrocities on October 7th. Like you're cheering? Like what did you gain? What did you? How could you like that? How could a baby being beheaded and tortured like do you any good? Why would you be cheering that?
Mm.
Why would you be cheering the rape of women? Like, yeah, that's what gets you off. That's what makes you happy in life. It's just sick, perverted, twisted thinking. This duality: me versus you, my side versus your side. There's no nuance in conversation. It's like you're either on my team or on the other team. If you do something good, I have to downplay it and I have to say like, oh, well, really, you're a Nazi or you're really a bad person. So it doesn't matter what good you do. So anything you do good, it's just downplayed right away, and you can never win. You can never win against these people. They always see you as an outsider, no matter how good you do for them, and like you talk about them, and you want to. The second they have a chance to kill, they kill, and that's it. And you just happen to be on the other end of it.
All right, so
Ridiculous.
let's head out of the darkness. Now we're gonna head into the light of the Gula. We're gonna head into the light of the Gula. We'll go to the third pasuk here. So it says very interesting. So v'chalchu goyim la'orech. Now it says like the nations are gonna walk in your light. You mean the light of the Torah, the wisdom of the Torah. Umalachim lenoga zarchek. Very fascinating. The kings in the shine of your rising light. So the world leaders even. So first the people. So Rabbi Schwab is very interesting comment here. He says the nations of the world will follow your enlightened example. They will finally recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, as Elohei Yisrael, as the one and only God who revealed to Israel His Torah, which contains His moral law for all of mankind. The Enlightenment will start with a groundswell by the general population, the nations, the Goyim, and it will grow until the world leaders, the Malachim, the kings, follow your light. So it's interesting. It talks about a grassroots enlightenment first. Like the first ones to see this great wisdom is just your average everyday people, and then the leaders will follow them.
Right.
So he describes his vision of the ingathering the exiles from all over the world in terms of a mother eagerly watching her children come back to her. So very, very fascinating. Okay, any comments here, or do you want me to go on to the next one?
You're on iPhone. Just
Okay.
yeah, it's interesting. The Gemara in Sota that says that the Malchut will turn into Minut, like the Malchut, the kingships will turn into non-believers.
Yeah.
And it seems like here, like like the nations will they'll turn, and then their kings will come, I guess, to
Yeah.
follow them, because they have no for themselves, so they'll just
Yeah.
follow their nation.
Yeah, because it's
Go
really
to
where
that
we
way.
are right now. Like it says, like we're in the generation with the face of a dog. So it's like the leaders are following the people. Like they're looking at the polls, they're seeing what the people want. So it
Yeah,
makes sense in this world. It makes sense that it's a ground roots thing first. Like the first the people see it and they recognize the great wisdom of the Torah. And then the leaders, since the leaders following after them, like then the leaders come last. It's pretty interesting. All right, so the next pasuk it says, Se'i saviv einayek, like look around with your eyes, or I kulam nikbitsu va'ulak. And it's very interesting. And see that all of them are gathering. They're coming to you. So benayik merakok, your sons from far, yavo, like they come to you. They're coming. Uvanosayik, and your daughters, altsad te'amana. Your sons will come home from afar, and your daughters will be nurtured at your side. So Rabbi Schwab said, very interesting commentary here. Here, let me stop the share for a second. He says, he says this is very, very interesting. He says, they will come home. The word bo, as used in Tanakh, means primarily to come home. And it says, Benai, your sons. The men who were long lost to the Jewish nation, who were Merachok, they were geographically and spiritually distant. They will come streaming back home and rejoin it. This could also refer to those who are not even known as Jews, as for example, the Marranos of Spain 500 years ago. So it shows a great spiritual awakening in the Jewish people, not only like geographically, not only are people coming back to, Israel, just to come back home, but they're coming home spiritually. Like they're coming back to, learn the Torah. And, and some Jews, they could have just, their families could completely have lost track of them being Jewish. And they're going to just reawaken to like who they were. And then it's very interesting. It says, and your daughters will be nurtured at your side. And the women will once again seek to be nurtured and educated in the fine points of the age-old spirit of its mother nation, Yisrael. And the women want to discover the secret of true Jewish femininity as it relates to their conduct. The division and the accent in this pasuk between Benayich and Benosayich alludes to the separate and distinct roles played by men and women in Jewish life. So I think one thing that's so important here is it shows like a healing that's beginning to begin. Like we saw this like, this battle of the sexes, all this confusion over gender that's been pushed. And now it's going to be a healing as like men and women return like to the roles, they're supposed to have. Yeah. You're what?
the loony bins,
Yeah.
can tell you up is down and down is up, left is
It's
right and right is left.
been
It's
been a
insane.
little crazy. It's been a little crazy. All right, so then here, let me see. So then this is really fascinating, this next pasuk here. Let me bring this up. So here it says, so this is the fifth pasuk. It says, Az tiri benacharta. So then it says like the nations, there you'll see, and they're going to be like, the nations are coming, right? And it says, and they're coming like the nations are streaming in like rivers, right? They're coming to you like like a wave, like a river coming towards you. And it's interesting. And our first reaction is fachad, like we're scared because like we've been through this for thousands of years. Like when the nations are getting together and they're coming to Israel, it's like they're coming to attack us, right? But then we see v'rachav levavek. We see our hearts widen. Ki yechafek alike hamon yam. So it's very interesting. It says like now it's like something's changed. It says like first, you're anxious, but then your heart widens, and it's like an ocean wave. And and all this, the massive amount of the nations, they turn to you. It's like ki yachafek alay hamon. and they're like this great yam, this great ocean wave of all these nations is coming towards you. And at first we're scared, but then our hearts begin to open because it says, so it says the goyim yavo lach, like this mass of the nations, they turn to you and are coming to you. So Rabbi Schwab has amazing explanation of all this. Let me read this here. It's a little confusing, so we get it sorted out. But the very beautiful idea. He's saying, then you'll see, he says, Az Tiri, then you'll see that after your children come home, you'll see another wave of people coming towards you. So v'nachart, it's like a nahar, like a river in Hebrew. In Aramaic, it means light. It's very interesting, rivers of light. And this means like it's light to enlighten or shine. So the term Nahora Ma'alya, good light, is often used. So this use of the word river to describe light corresponds to the present day physical theory that light travels in waves. So it's not only like rivers of people, like rivers of water, rivers of light, but the nations are like all flowing towards Israel. And then it says, Ufachad v'rakav levavek. Your heart will become anxious and then widen. At first, you glance from a distance at the mass of people streaming towards you. Ufachad, your heart will race anxiously, making you afraid by a long, bitter experience that this may be an enemy invasion. But as they come closer, Virachab, your heart will be relieved and widened with joy as you see that these are the world's nations who are happily and eagerly converging upon you in friendship to be near you and to learn from you. And ki yakafek alike, they turn towards you. And instead of being your enemies and adversaries, the nations have turned towards you in admiration. And it says Hail Goyim, like the wealth of the nations or amassed nations. And it's talking like they're here. So we'll comment from here. I'm saying there's so much. I don't want to get too confused, but it's an incredible concept here because if you see now,
So
it's like Israel is constantly being condemned, and they're yelling "Free Palestine" all the time. But here the nations are coming not to attack Israel or say Jewish people don't belong in Israel. They're coming to learn. They're coming to learn the Torah. They're coming in friendship. And so it's a much different vision that Isaiah has here.
then what's playing out currently? Yeah, of course, because the people who started the modern state they weren't following the Torah, so it's obviously going to be different.
Yeah, so I mean, right, so I think right the difference is like right in as the Gula, goes on, right, the nations are going to recognize this great wisdom of the Torah and they want to learn. They see the blessings that have now been given to the Jewish people and they want to learn from us. Because I guess in some ways, like what does Israel have to offer right now? Like they have the same secular wisdom as everywhere else, right? The same science as everywhere else, the same
Yeah,
arts as everywhere else. So why would the nations stream to learn that?
no, they wouldn't. They're only going to stream to us to learn godliness. They're not going to stream to us to learn how to act like animals. They know how to do that.
Okay, so let me
I mean, it's true. Like you follow your body, you're acting like an animal. You follow your soul, you're
yeah,
acting godly. You know what I mean? Like the world knows how to follow their body. They don't need
right,
lessons how to
right,
follow their body better. You know
right.
what I mean? Like, you know,
No, right. No, you're right. If you want to learn decadence, go to New York City, go to Los Angeles. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
I mean, go to Rome, go to Paris. I don't know, go to wherever is famous for its luxury and its decadence. But right in this future vision of the Gula, right, we're going to have right something different, like spiritual elevation to offer. Right, we're going to have something different to offer. Okay, so this is a very interesting pasuk here. So it's 14. It says, "V'chaku alaik shekoach b'nei manayich, v'hishtakavu al kapos raglayich kol mina'atzayich, v'koru lach ir Hashem Sion kadosh Yisrael." So it's very interesting pasuk here. So it says, "And the children of those who afflicted you will walk to you bowing, and all those who scoffed at you will prostrate themselves at the soles of your feet, and they will call you the city of Hashem. So they'll call Jerusalem the city of Hashem, and they'll call it by its name Zion, the Holy One of Israel. So Rabbi Schwab has some interesting comments here. He says, and the children of those who afflicted you will walk to you bowing. Ma'anayich. The ones who afflicted the Jewish nation will not be there. They will have perished and received their punishment. But the B'nai Ma'anayich, their children, will come to the Jews bent to the ground, begging their forgiveness for the suffering their fathers caused the Jews throughout the generations. And then, V'hishtakavu al kapos raglaya kol mena'atzayich. And all those who scoffed at you will prostrate themselves at the soles of your feet. Even those who merely scoffed at you and arrogantly looked down upon you will come and prostrate themselves on the ground you walk on. Pretty incredible compared to where we are now, right? So this seems to refer to those people who will be alive at the time this nevuah, this prophecy is fulfilled. In throwing themselves down on the ground the Jews walk on, they will be representing all the nations of the world who have tread upon the heads of the Jews throughout the millennium. And then the Karulach Ir Hashem Tzion Kadosh Yisrael. And they will call you the city of Hashem, Tzion, the Holy One of Yisrael, the Holy One of Israel, referring back to Makom Mikdashi or Makom Raglai. The nations of the world will refer to the city in which Hashem's temple is located as the city of God. So they'll see the temple and Tzion, the Holy One of Yisrael, the Holy One of Israel. They will do so because they will recognize the presence of Akadosh Baruch Hu, the presence of the Holy One, blessed be He, in the holy city. Pretty, pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah, far cry, right, from
Yeah,
what we're
very.
supposed to be, and where we're going, and where we're at right now. You can definitely see like that. All those people who want to say like, "Oh, this is the start of the redemption." They're not so correct.
Well, I mean, we could. I mean, Hashem could be moving around all the pieces on the board.
Well, he always is.
Yeah, but we definitely. But now we're seeing. Right, we're
Like this
seeing
is
great
the
hatred.
goal. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't get to this goal, then you haven't gotten there. Like you're
Yeah.
not doing what you're supposed to. Like it's not that you're supposed to have peace so you can eat some falafel and hummus and like chill on the beaches of Tel Aviv. Like that's not the purpose of Israel. You know, if you have a divine mission and you really care about that, you wouldn't give an inch of that land. You wouldn't trade land for peace. You'd say that this is yours. You know what I mean? And no one else could come here unless you abide by the rules of God. Like that's not where we're at right now. And it's a battle, like, the people who believe in this doctrine versus the people who don't believe in it but are currently controlling the money supply, the military supply and direction of the country. You know what I mean? It's a struggle that we're going through, and like the nations of the world, they don't know that. They don't see that it's an internal struggle that we're going through. They lump us all in together. When they say the Jews, you know what I mean? They say everybody. Don't say, oh, only the secular, you know, religious, non-religious Jews in the government. They say the Jews, Israel, oh, everybody, and that's where we get ourselves in trouble. You know what I mean? And like if we identify with them too much. So I can understand those people who want to disassociate themselves from the country, from the state.
Yeah, I mean, right. So it's going to be, right, there's going to be some kind of transition from what it is now, right, from the state of Israel, which is, the secular country, and it's going to be some kind of transition into, the kingdom of Israel, the Malchus Yisrael, the kingdom of Israel, where we have Mashiach, we have a Melech, we have a king, we have a Sanhedrin, the laws of the Torah will be followed instead of the secular laws of this Israeli Supreme Court. And then I don't know, in secular government, there's no, there's no equivalent to the Kohanim and the Levium. This holy group of people that will work in the base of Mikdash, that will work in the base of Mikdash, the temple, and learn the Torah and teach the Torah, right? So, right. So really, what's going to get us to this prophecy, right? Just as the prophecy is given in the Torah, right? What's going to get us to this age of world peace is following the Torah, is following the words of the Torah, the mitzvos of the Torah, the midos of the Torah, the gemilas chasadim, the acts of kindness, right? So the Torah is going to lead us there, right? We have to follow the Torah. I said, right. So this is
But
very, yeah, sorry.
no,
Well,
there's no other alternative. There's no other like a trick up our sleeves that we can do
yeah.
as a nation. You know what I mean? Like this is it. Either we stick to it and we live by it, or we die by any other means. Because like to have almost 30,000 people die since the establishment of the country of Israel, like what are you doing? You're not doing anything to save the people by having a country over there. Even though you think, if you compare 30,000 to 6 million, it's like, oh, whoa, yeah. But if you take any 75-year period, you don't have to compare to the latest 75-year period. You could take, all throughout history. It doesn't mean that, like, in any certain period, 6 million have to die, you know, to compare, like, the loss of 30,000 people.
Mm,
I'm just playing, with the numbers that are currently,
yeah.
what has Israel gotten itself? Like to say that they're the number one in tech, around the world, or the number one in entrepreneurs around the world. Like what have they accomplished in the 75 years? You know, and if it's not like this prophecy, then it doesn't matter. It's all fleeting things that could be gone with one nuke. One nuke drops on Israel and everything's gone. And this week's parsha, it actually talks about that. The last generation comes and says, what happened to this land? How has it have been destroyed? What did these people do to upset their God so much that he caused this destruction to come upon them? And that's said by the last generation. So I mean, I don't know where we're at in this time frame, but it's not looking so rosy.
I mean, it's scary stuff. All right, so this, so back, so back to the light. Back to the light here. So, this is going to really show the difference, right? This is going to show the difference of where we are now to where we're going to be, Bezrat Hashem, soon. But so let me see if I can find it here. So then we're going to go down to the next pasuk. So it says Tachas. So here, 15 Tachas Heyosech Azuva Usanua Ve'eno ver v'samtich ligon olam misog dor vador. So this is a very interesting pasuk. So instead of having been forsaken and hated, with no one passing through, now we see this now, like the isolation. They want to make like Israel like an apartheid state, right? They're cutting off aid. All these countries are trying to cut ties with Israel. Like we're forsaken right now, we're hated right now, no one's passing through. But then Hashem says, instead of that, Hashem says, I will make you into the pride of the world, the source of happiness for generations. Mesos dor vador, the source of happiness for generations. So
Is
we're
this
under.
is this through the Abraham Accords?
Uh, I mean, I think it's going to be through the Torah, right? So yeah, but so the great light of the Torah, it's going to change the whole outlook of the world on how they view the Jewish people and how they view Israel, like the source of all happiness. Right now, if you listen like to the anti-Semites, they're claiming that Israel is the source of all suffering, and all war. I mean, they're getting it's really crazy. Like, oh, come on, that's too far. That's way too
Why?
far.
Why do we not control the world?
I think Hashem controls the
Spiritual,
world.
spiritual, spiritual, spiritually. Do
I
are
think
we not like if something bad happens in the world, isn't it something
I mean, I think right. I think
going by
through
these
yeah.
non-values?
I mean, I think right through the Torah and the mitzvahs, we can have a great effect on the world, right? We can for the good or chas v'shalom, for and right. We just saw in Parsha Kisavo, though.
Exactly. So,
Yeah,
so we can exactly. So we control what happens in the world, either good or bad.
right. So through following right the
So if
Torah,
they
that we
blame us for the bad, even
yeah,
though even though
yeah,
they don't know what they're saying, even though they
yeah.
don't know what they're saying, like I mean, it's technically true.
But they're not thanking us for the good. They're not thanking us for all the Torah and the mitzvahs we do that bring the brachos into the world, that brings
Exactly.
the
You're
blessings in
right.
the
You're
world.
right. You're
Okay, so
right.
I
No.
see. I-
Again, because it goes back to what we were saying is that it's become a team game. It's like my team versus your team.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Every kind of discourse is my team versus your team, and then it's there's no real nuance in conversation, so it really doesn't matter. But
All right, so let me get to this. So this is a really beautiful pasuk here. We're running a little out of time, but I want to at least get this pasuk here. So then when we really get our act together, when we really we do teshuva, we're following the Torah. So it says really something beautiful here. So it says, Va'ameh kulam tzaddikim, and your nation, all of them will be tzaddikim, leolam, right? Incredible. Then your nation will all be righteous. And Yershu Eretz, and then they're going to then you they will inherit the land. Then forever now we will inherit the land of Israel. Leolam Yershu Eretz. Like now we're going to inherit the land of Israel forever. And then Natzer Matai, like you, Hashem says, like you are the branch of my planting. Maseh Yadai Lehis Paer, the work of my hands to be proud of. Right, very beautiful vision here from Isaiah. So let's see what Rabbi Schwab says. So Rabbi Schwab, he says, V'ameh kulam tzaddikim. Then your nation will all be righteous. Eventually, every Jewish person will become a tzaddik. In the order of righteousness, the tzaddik is the highest form. So based on the pasuk here, the Chachamim tell us, Kol Yisrael yesh lechem chelek le'olam haba. All of Israel has a share in the world to come. It says it in Sanhedrin 90a. It may take thousands of years, but eventually every Jewish neshama will come back at tzaddik. Incredible, incredible idea. It says, Leolam Yershuaretz. They will inherit the land forever. The Jewish people will never again be exiled from the land of Israel. So Maise Yadav Lehis Paer, the work of my hands to be proud of. The Kash Baruch Hu, so to speak, will pride himself in his handiwork in having a world filled with Siddiqim. And as the Navi said at the beginning of this chapter, the Chalku Goyim Lo Reich, and then the nations will walk in your light, meaning that the entire world will follow the example of the righteous Jewish people. The creation of man will then have come full circle. Hashem created man in his image. Nasa Adam b'tsalmenu b'demusenu. And now finally man will have reached the level for which he was created, and Hashem will pride himself in the work of his hands. That sounds pretty good, huh? What do you think?
yeah, well, that's the whole goal of human history is to get us back to our status as man, Adam.
Yeah.
That status fell after listening to the snake, and then successive people couldn't get back to that place, and we got split apart with the nations at the Tower of Babel, and then humanity has to come back to it, and like the Jewish people were chosen to get the Torah and to get the instructions on how to bring humanity back, and along the way we've forgotten that mission, and we've had the revival and people reminding us of that mission. And now it's time to take that torch and bring it back to bring all humanity back to serve its one creator.
Yeah, so we'll finish up here with the final pasuk. So this is Hashem's promise that He's going to bring us the Gula. And He says, "Akaton yichiyel elef, v'hatzair legoyatzum, ani Hashem be'ita achi shena." A very, very famous line here. So what it says, what Isaiah says is, he says, the small one will become 1,000, and the young one a mighty nation. He says, I am Hashem, in its appointed time I will hasten it. Right, the famous quote from Yeshaya from Isaiah. So Rabbi Schwab, he says, I am Hashem. In its appointed time, I will hasten it. This is Hashem's signature that all the above, which we call the Gula, will occur. However, the wording in the closing phrase is an apparent contradiction. If it occurs at its appointed time, Hashem has not hastened it. And if Hashem hastens it, then it will not have occurred at its appointed time. So as mentioned earlier, the Chakami remark on, so Zahu, if we merit it, Achi Shena, I will hasten it. But Lo Zahu, if we don't merit it, then Be'ita, it will happen in its set time. From Sanhedrin 98a. In our daily tefillah, our daily prayer, we ask the Geula not be delayed until the latest possible time. We say, V'chisei David meheira l'socha tachin. May you quickly establish David's throne in it, in Jerusalem, and es zemach David avdecha Mehera tatzmiach. May you hasten the outgrowth of David, your servant, to sprout forth. Let us hope that it will come true. Bimhera, very quickly and soon. Good stuff there. Like,
There you go. It's up to us again. We control the world, huh?
all right, well, Hashem controls the world. I
Well, I
don't,
mean, it seems like he's putting it in our hands, right? If we
well,
marry it, so it's quickly. If not, then it's time, right?
yeah.
So
I
is
mean
it
that
is it in our hands or is it not in our hands?
no, you're right. It's in our hands. If you know if the Jewish people will
There
do
you go,
teshuva,
buddy.
yeah. If we do teshuva, it starts immediately and chas v'shalom. We have to keep going along with all the
Yeah.
craziness. Yeah.
There's a easier interpretation that says in its time it'll come quickly. It won't be delayed. Like so you'll feel it quick. Like things will move quicker. Like a week will seem like it went by. Within a day. An hour it'll seem like a second. So in its proper time it'll just happen quickly.
All right, sounds good. We'll have to see. So, I mean, it
Strange,
sounds like
strange.
much better days. And then that's the big question. What do we have to do, to get from where we are now, which does seem like the Choshek and the Arafel. It does seem like the darkness and the deep darkness to get to be the Or LaGoyim, to get to be the light to the nations. And it seems like, we have the plan. Hashem gave us the Torah, He gave us the mitzvos, He gave us the way to do it. So we really just have to follow it. All right, we're under a minute. Any final word? What do you want
That's
to say?
it. You said it, buddy. You said it. We just got to do it.
All right,
Nike,
so
Nike, just do it.
just do it, folks. Just do it. We got Elul, we got Rosh Hashanah.
You,
Let's just
you,
do it.
you think we get them to sponsor us?
Well, I don't know. We need a lot of views. Get us, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. All right, we'll see you back soon on Sweet and Good Torah and the Gate of Mordecai.